Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request. Before I start, I just want to sincerely thank people out there for being patient with me, for being generous, for being kind, for the paid requests. You don't know how much I really appreciate it. And I know people go, well, you sound like a broken record, because it really is. I really do appreciate it. It helps a lot. Helps the channel a lot. It helps a lot of things. So sincerely just wanted to say thank you for those who do watch this. And to get the masturbatory promo out of the way, if you wish to request any type of video, movie review, re-review, commentary, reaction, topic, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, tier list, ranking, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. The links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it, so thank you. But anyway, this is for Primitive War for 2025. A film that I had heard of, and I mean, the concept seems right up my alley. Soldiers versus dinosaurs in the era of Vietnam. I mean, I like Kong Skull Island, low budget dinosaur films. The ones I'm more into is stuff like Carnosaur 2 and especially Carnosaur 3 Primal Species, which it's a shame those two never got a Blu-ray release. Would have been nice. Even a double feature, something like that. Fuck the first one. The first one's... I don't like the first Carnosaur. But Carnosaur 2 and 3, especially the third one, I thought were fun. I think Carnosaur... I don't know 2, but 3 is on YouTube for free. And I forgot, like, that film's only 80 minutes long. Scott Grimes is the star. I mean, going off tangent. Now, this one I had heard some buzz because, number one, it was compared to Jurassic World Rebirth about how that film cost so much more money, and this film only cost about $7 million, give or take, so a very low budget. It's very ambitious. It's not one of those movies where the dinosaurs are in it for a little. They're in it for quite a bit, and a variety of dinosaurs. There's some T-Rexes, there's raptors mostly, there's some pterodactyls, you see a little bit of Triceratops, a little bit of Brontosaurus. They try to be a little bit more accurate, where in the past few years, or quite a few years, it's been known that dinosaurs have a bit more feathers and stuff on them. So they try to put that into the film, onto the designs of the dinosaurs. And Luke Sparke, the director, he definitely... This is not a lazy venture, far from it. And I appreciate it. I commend him for that. And yeah, for a lot of films that barely do much, the fact he was able to accomplish quite a bit with a low budget, it is very commendable. And I will say, no matter what I say, this I enjoyed more than Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World Rebirth. One of the better dinosaur films I've seen in a while. With that said, I thought this was okay. That was alright. The characters are there. The actors are fine. Ryan Kwanten, who was actually the star of Dead Silence, a film from quite a few years ago. He's the star of the film. Jeremy Piven, interesting to see him in this, who was in Judgment Night with Emilio Estevez. He was in quite a few other stuff. He's in here as a commander. He's in for your couple scenes. Just a little bit in the firefight in the third act of the film. The others are pretty unknown. I don't really recognize much of them. And you don't get to know a whole lot about the characters. There's very brief stuff on them. And before I go on, I guess the synopsis, the setup. It's 1968 Vietnam. these Green Berets are missing. So kind of like Predator, a squad are set in to go find missing men, and then eventually they find out there's something more to it, and then there's also this girl that they find, not Anna, but a girl named Sophia, who is a Soviet. And of course, you'd come to find out there are dinosaurs. Now, the squad is known as the Vulture Squad, and there's about 7 people involved. There's the leader, played by Ryan Kwanten, again from Dead Silence. There's these 2 guys who are snipers. One of them, there's a little bit of a screw loose. Just when he is sniping, he has to, like, there's voices in his head, and he has to say them out loud. I try to remember if they explain how that happened or what the deal was, like in detail. I don't remember it, but it's just that there's voices and stuff. And then the other sniper, he's a little bit of a jokester guy. And then the others is really not a whole lot to them. There's 2 black people. One has a machete. One does not. And then there's another guy. And then there's a rookie who operates the radio. Like I say, you don't really get to know much of any of them. And I get it, like films like Predator, it's not like you got to know the full backstory of Jesse Ventura's character, but they bring the presence, personality, larger-than-life dialogue. Same with a film like Aliens or something, that even if you don't have the full backstory, they still have a level of memorability with them. These are just kind of so-so characters. They're okay. They're all right. Nothing amazing or anything. They're all right. Jeremy Piven was really the one that had the most personality, and sadly, he's in it for only a couple scenes. I kind of wish he was the lead, because that would have been it. If his character, with how energetic and we're ass deep in alligator, just the way he's talking, I'm like, if that type of personality and fun and gun ho, like he's trying to be fucking Sergeant Rock or something, if he was the lead, I think that could have brought a level of fun amongst the characters as they're going through this. But no, the other characters take the situation fairly serious. And yeah, pretty much we first see these Green Berets get killed by the dinosaurs, and then the mission. Well, actually, then after that, we see what the Vulture Squad do. Kind of like you would see in Predator, where you see them on a mission. Well, in that case, the same mission. Fighting bad guys, and you get to see how they're able to handle combat. Same with this, they're able to handle combat, and then when they're done, you guys have another mission. Jeremy Piven tells them these Green Berets are missing, you gotta go find them. They go in there, and then that's where they start to figure out that, yeah, shit ain't the way it's supposed to be. Because one of them gets grabbed, and he's able to get away from it, and they don't know what it was. They're wondering if it was a lion, or a tiger, I should say, or something like that. Was it a tiger? Was it something else? They find these feathers. Just again, they're trying to make the dinosaur designs a little bit more accurate, so they have feathers and stuff, some of them. Then they go on this cave system, and then all of a sudden there's dinosaurs there, and they shoot the shit out of them. And then it's pretty much a survival mission. At one point they get separated, so the leader and the radio rookie, they get separated, and they find the Soviet girl who's a paleontologist, and she's kind of part of the story of why there's dinosaurs here in the first place. While the other men, it's kind of a montage of them just kind of traversing the area, and they see dinosaurs about. There's a point where Soviets try to shoot them, and they're shooting back, and pterodactyls come in. It is R-rated. There's a little bit of blood in it. Now, it's not wall-to-wall blood like some people make it out to be, but there's some blood. And, I mean, this is stuff that I like to see in Jurassic Park film or something to that ilk. But you see a little bit. You see people get bit. You see a pterodactyl poke someone in the stomach and ripping some of the guts out. There's one creature later on, kind of a bigger raptor creature that's digging in and ripping up someone and ripping up their chest open. You see little up-close shots. When there's a T-Rex family, at least two of them that are killing some Soviets, and you see them munching. And granted, a lot of CGI where they get the mouth, and when they close it, you see body parts fly about. Granted, again, CGI. So there's stuff like that. But I miss the days I did like Carnosaur 2 and 3 where a dinosaur would be like a practical puppet they would have and take someone and bite their fucking head off, and you see the blood spurt and stuff. Or they pull an arm and you see little bits and juicy flesh and stuff rip apart. I miss the days of that. So Sally didn't have that kind of stuff in it, which would have been nice. Would have been nice to have at least an idea. There's really no practical in this, which was a shame. No practical at all. I think what it is, well, I like the premise. Maybe silly or goofy, but I guess it's a premise I can get behind. Again, I like Carnosaur 3, as I've repeated multiple times, and that's soldiers. Right, in modern time, but, you know, soldiers versus dinosaurs. But, like I said, the story is just kind of there, and people go, what, do you expect a deep story? No, it's just, the film is 2 hours and 13 minutes long. I don't know what Luke Sparke was thinking when he thought this film needed to be 2 hours and 13 minutes. And I did. Hell, my favorite film of all time, Aliens, is, you know, especially the director, you know, extended cuts, like 2.5 hours long. But I don't feel it. This, I felt it a bit. I did feel it a bit, because when it gets to an action scene, it starts feeling, this is not a word, but samey. Where, like in the cave system, they're shooting at the dinosaurs, you see all these muzzle flashes, and sometimes some of the dinosaurs fly out, and there's a lot of CG, and then they escape. There's a bit where they hold up while one of their men is hurt, and it's nighttime, and the raptors come in and they shoot at them. It kind of is like the same thing. Again, each time there's a firefight, an action scene, it just feels like it's the same over and over again. So I didn't really feel a lot of variety, a lot of creativity in the battle scenes. I mean, for example, would have been cool if someone got like one of those flamethrowers and is using it. That's done at the end credits when it's showing like random footage. But imagine like someone gets a flamethrower and is using it against a creature, and it's like a back and forth where it's trying to get him, but then he's using the flamethrower to hold it back. Or like an M60 that just goes to town, and you have up close with the dinosaur blowing up to bits. It just, again, kind of, because it's CGI, it's not like you get up close shots of shooting the dinosaur in the face and this piece of it blows off or this piece of it blows off. It's kind of, you can maybe, if you squint, see the CG hits of the dinosaurs, then they just plop down. And well, you have a grenade launcher. There's a T-Rex. Shoot a freaking grenade launcher and blow up a T-Rex's head. Hell, Carnosaur 3 did that, where Scott Grimes throws a damn bomb and it blows up the T-Rex's head. But you don't really get much of that stuff. And that's where just the action, the fight scenes, just, they lose a little something. It's just kind of, they're shooting at them. You're wondering just how many fucking bullets they have. And then you're not really noticing if they're even hitting the dinosaurs until some of them flop down. So again, it just feels kind of redundant. And when you do that, the characters have to shine a bit. And I said, they're kind of just there. They're not bad. They're just there. The T-Rex, they don't really battle the T-Rexes. At one point, two of our characters are chased by one. But they kind of make the T-Rexes, I wouldn't say good, but for the audience to root for, because they're the ones that fight the Soviets, because some of the Soviets killed one of their babies, and so there's a scene where the T-Rexes are just killing a bunch of the Soviets. And, fun enough scene. And the effects, at times it looks rough, at times it looks pretty decent CGI. Again, for the budget and ambition they had. And to really commend Luke Sparke and the crew, some of the wide shots where they showed the landscape, they show like when the helicopters come into the village early in the film. The third act of the film, there's kind of a last stand where some of our characters are by this helicopter. It's done in slow-mo. It's a fucking Zack Snyder movie. And there's people shooting in slow-mo. And the one guy with the machete cuts a few, granted against CGI, but cuts a few of the raptors' heads off. And it looks cool. I mean, compared to, say, the multitude of Sci-Fi Channel movies that you're lucky if you see a creature for 5 minutes of the film, I commend what they were able to do. And the little bit of blood they have in there, I would like to see more blood. But I don't know. Again, the action just started kind of looking the same after a bit. And I think it's just the pacing. I think there's a good at least 20-25 minutes you could cut out of this. Maybe also if you got like a more recognizable actor or someone with much more of a fervent personality, that at least for a lead, if not for the full cast. I didn't like what Jeremy Piven was doing. He was like fun. I wish he was in the film more. Music wise, so I get effects wise. Yeah, some of it looks rough, but a lot of it looks pretty decent CG. I did for its budget. And yeah, the fact that they didn't just have it, dinosaurs in it for 5 minutes, they're in it throughout. There's quite a bit. I did gore wise. There's some there, not a ton. There's some there. I would like to have seen more though. And the characters, I would say it's so-so. Acting, not bad. What was I going to say? The way the film looks, the way they use the locations and wide vistas, very ambitious for the budget they had. Story, spoilers, you find out that the Soviet lady and her people were involved in wormhole technology. And accidentally, it was meant to like teleport the Soviets from one place to another, but it brought dinosaurs to here. Now, it's not the exact plot, but I'm like, why does that... Isn't that Dino Crisis, the video game? Not the exact plot, but like the whole wormhole. And isn't that Dino Crisis? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, the time... I don't think this needed to be this damn long. And sometimes there's a little bit weird stuff here and there. Like there's a bit where the other soldiers, they are through the montage that they're going through the jungle and such, and there's these various different dinosaurs. Well, there's a bit where they're going through the clearing, and around them is Brontosaurus. Brontosaurus there, Brontosaurus there. And I noticed in the scene, like they're talking about, what they're going to do. What about the men that they're separated from? They never looked at the dinosaurs in that scene. And I'm sitting there going, man, if I'm in the middle of dinosaurs that fucking tall, Brontosaurus, every 15 seconds I'd be looking at it, and then I'd be looking at one to either make sure they don't step on me, to marvel, because the fucking dinosaur, look how tall it is. And the fact that in that scene, like, nobody looks at it, I'm like, that just made it seem less real. With that relatability factor, like, I know you're soldiers, but come on, it's a fucking, look at these fucking dinosaurs. Like, you're not going, no one's going to be looking at it, like, wow, Even if you've been dealing with dinosaurs for the full fucking day or two. So I thought it was a weird ass scene because of that. And then pretty much the story is that it's just they get separated. Like I said, they beat the Soviet, all that. They eventually get together. One of them gets dragged, gets fucked up by a raptor. They go to this compound. They try to escape. The one guy who's hurt is left behind. Sacrifices himself with a grenade so that the others can get away on this boat. And then the Soviet lady's like, hey, we gotta shut this wormhole down because if we don't, more and more and more fucking dinosaurs will come. We'll just bomb it. No, you can't, because the wormhole thing, if you bomb that, something could happen and every place could be bombed. So they go to where that's at, which is a Soviet base. Which is weird. It's Vietnam, but there's not a whole lot of Vietnamese in there. It's the mission at the beginning for the Vulture Squad. There's this group of Soviets where there's one Vietnamese there. This lady. That's pretty much it. It's mostly just deal with Soviets, though. And then a multitude of action scenes happen. At one point, the PTSD sniper guy gets away and leads the raptors and other stuff so he could sacrifice himself to save the people. So there's 5 of them left, including the lady, 6 of them, and they go on their merry way to stop this wormhole. I just said it. If there was a bit more creativity in the firefight sequences, whether it be different weapons, different way of killing these things. Excuse me. Maybe one of them is hanging onto a pterodactyl and shooting it, or cat and mouse amongst the trees, and they're using the trees as cover. And like it's above the trees and they're below the trees. It's like a hide and seek thing. Or there's briefly a thing with a creature that's in the water. They shoot at it, it just goes away after 30 seconds. But like a water battle could maybe be cool or different. Again, just creativity. Instead of just, again, the firefights just looked the same after a bit. Or cut 30 minutes out of it and have it be a better, tighter pace to the film. Because it's just not enough story, and the characters aren't vivid enough there to hold that running time. Aliens does. So Ellen Ripley, Hicks, Hudson, Newt, like these characters are able to hold the film for that running time when the aliens aren't about. Here, again, the acting is okay, but I don't think the characters are strong enough to hold that. And the story is pretty flimsy. But yeah, I don't want to sound too negative because it was still, at the very least, a decent time waster. I would say it was a decent time waster to go, wow, like you wish all sci-fi, it's not a sci-fi channel film, but the sci-fi channel films this year, you wish they had the ambition that this film had. The way this, again, some of the cinematography looks, the effects look a little bit better than you would think for a film that's might as well call it direct-to-video, streaming, however you want to put it. The final battle will make you think of like Zack Snyder type of stuff. Some may say in a bad way, but in this way it worked. But again, even more spoilers with the characters. Like at the end of the film, they set bombs at the base. One of the men fight the Vietnamese lady, and he gets injured and detonates, kills the both of them. They find the Soviet general or commander, whatever, have to deal with him. They stop the wormhole. They gotta get out of there. And then there's a point where the lead guy, he's like, no more of my men are getting killed. And he runs off, I guess, to be bait. But he's only bait for like a couple. Because the rest of them just follow the men in Sofia anyway. And he's like blowing stuff up. But I mean, that's just to deal with some of the raptors behind him. My point is that eventually he dies. And I thought this was such a useless, pointless death. Because he could just escape with the others. And because again, as soon as at this point there's only 2 soldiers and Sophia left. The black guy with the machete, the radio rookie guy, and then Sophia. By the time they get up, there's still a shitload of fucking raptors with going towards them. And then again, they're doing the sort of the standoff, kind of holding the line until it detonates. So again, I don't really get why the lead guy had to go off and venture over here and then get himself killed. It just, again, it felt like a pointless death. Maybe I missed something. I did some stuff wrong. I do apologize. Like Smokey and the Bandit review, I said the Enos twins were twins. I didn't know they were father and son because, like, aren't they the same? Aren't the actors the same age, but they're meant to be father and son? What? I didn't get that. But they I know one's smaller, but he looks the fuck. Anyway, that's Smokey and the Bandit. But I don't know, man. I didn't really get why the lead guy had to die. Thought that was pretty dumb. I just said pointless. And then the characters who live, they didn't really do a whole lot through the rest of the fucking movie. Like the radio guy, the rookie guy. On the actual mission, he didn't do a whole lot. He didn't do much of fuck all. Same with the black guy. Like it's the ones who died that did more of the work. The sniper guy who had PTSD thing, or whatever was going on with him. Some other guys who died during it, who was a little bit more in on the action. But yeah, these guys didn't seem like they did anything. And they were kind of like really put in the background. The radio guy, he wanted to call him radio DJ, the radio guy, he was with the lead guy when they found Sophia, but even then, it's not like he did much. He didn't really accomplish, but he wasn't much of a character. Same with... So I'm like, okay, these 2 survived, but why them? I mean, they're like the ones that were in the background the most of the team. So that's why, I mean, it just felt a bit empty. I don't want a downbeat ending. I'm glad that didn't happen, but just like, oh, whatever. Okay, they survived. Whoop-de. Indifference. Indifference what I thought of. The only kind of spot I got is that when the helicopter landed, Jeremy Piven was there, and he's there shooting along with them at the dinosaurs and stuff. And there's a little bit of slow mo going on, and it's raining, the lightning is doing it, and again, some of the dinosaurs with CG look pretty decent again for the budget. Just as they're doing this last stand, and finally the one guy just used a machete and finally cuts a few of the dinosaurs' heads off again in CG. The massive explosion happens. They get the hell out of Dodge. And then they're going back, and then there's kind of this fun little montage at the end where it's like news footage. Or what if this was to alter the history of seeing news footage of Vietnam, but people or in dinosaurs or in the mix of it. That was interesting to look at visually. Music-wise, the songs they use, because they're just like the most typical songs you would think for a Vietnam movie. Fortunate Son. What was it? Running through the jungle. I'm running through the jungle. There's that song. Give me some lovin', give me some lovin', give me some lovin'. I guess they're the songs they could afford, and I don't know, just typical songs you think of with a Vietnam movie. I guess I would have liked to have seen some deep cuts, or some interesting bits, or oh wow, I haven't heard that song in a while. Or hell, even though this song was used in Collinsville Island, trailer that wise, we gotta get out of this place, which was in the Hammer Hill. If it's the last thing we ever do. But I don't know, it would have been interesting to see some other, different type of songs, or deep cut songs, but it is what it is. So yeah, as a film, it was fun enough, okay enough to watch one time. I do think a good amount of people will get a kick out of it. It's definitely more ambitious than a random quote sci-fi channel film you would find. Again, I appreciate what they were able to accomplish on a low budget. I think more people should learn from that. But the characters are just kind of there. The pacing, 30 minutes could have been cut out of this. The firefights, just after a while, seemed to get a bit redundant. We'll like to see a bit more creativity in the firefights. I forgot what I was going to say. And we'll like to have seen a bit, practical of any sort with dinosaurs. But like I said, there's really no practical at all. I mean, CG is, for a good chunk of it, above average compared to other types, but again, if the concept interests you, it's worth a watch. I'm just not going to say I was blown away, loved it, 10 out of 10, but it was interesting. A little long though. But yeah. Like I said, I do wish I wanted a bit more. Maybe people say I'm being greedy, but there's something about it that didn't click 100% with me. But it okay. It was okay. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks once again, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.